Buddhism being more of a philosophy, I feel. Obviously, depending on the perspective you look at it from, because there's all sorts of denominations of Buddhism, just like other things. So I'm being quite general, like I say, but I don't know everything, so correct me if I'm wrong. But Hinduism is cool. I like Hinduism. There's so much depth to it, and I like the way that they look at God. Okay, I've just come onto a field and there are people playing football or something, so I'm going to go another way. But again, like, Hinduism is just crazy. Like, all the different avenues you can go down. There's people who worship like Shiva, one of the gods. But I say gods, it's interesting because it kind of seems like even still Hinduism being like this massive religion with so many gods, if you actually refine it down and take it in a simple way, it's actually like, oh, hang on, the gods are more of like one in nature. That's the impression that I get from it. So yeah, there's just so many commonalities throughout religions, and these are all different things to talk about, but I'm kind of just trying to give a general rundown of my perspective of things here. I wanted to talk about the world. Yes, the world. There's lots of conflicts in the world. I think it's important to not take sides so much. See, from what I've understood from spirituality and stuff, is that we can see God in all things. So that doesn't mean someone has God in them and someone has no God in them. It means that everyone has God in them, and we have to see it for that. And I think it's so easy in through worldly platforms to see, oh, this person, I like what they're doing, they must be good. This other person, they're terrible. And things can be very polarizing, black and white, which is good for no one. That's where conflict comes from. And we have people taking victim positions, people taking aggressive positions, etc. But personally, I like to say, if there's a conflict, I'm going to try and talk pretty broadly. I'm not going to talk in specifics again, just to not take sides, keep this approachable for anyone. Say if you have a conflict, team A and team B kind of thing, if you step back from the world and look at it from a plain perspective, if you look at it for what it is, then it's just how the world is. You can't really say it's good or bad or anything. I guess, like, I think there's going to be good that one side is doing and good that the other side is doing, or else they wouldn't be in that mind. And then there's going to be bad that one side is doing and bad that the other side is doing, because that's the nature of humans. So I think this comes down to like general human relationships. I think it's easy to idealize other humans and say this person's amazing, and just say this person's really good, I can't see any wrong in them, and then you kind of alienate that person. So I'm tying this back to conflict, where there's like two sides, where it's like if you idealize one side of a conflict, then you're putting that team or that side in a position which is unnatural, and I just don't think that's right. I think it's good to be balanced, which is something really hard to do because there's so many emotions attached to these things. So understanding emotions and like stepping back from them. I know you said detaching from emotions, that wouldn't be good. You want to feel your emotions, but because I mean, emotions are like one of the most important parts of living. If you don't have any emotions, if you cut yourself off from your emotions, then life is just passing you by. But if you feel life, then you're actually tapping into that, and you can actually experience something, and it can be quite profound, I'd say. So yeah, that's conflict in a very general, broad, simple sense. Thinking, feeling, birds are awesome. I can hear the birds. I think I touched on relationships for a moment, which seemed like an important topic. But I'm not really sure what to say. I'm realizing as I'm speaking that maybe the way I'm going about this is a bit unorganized and going to be quite tricky to segment out, but we'll see how it goes. I think I've covered a lot there, but I feel like I should wrap it up with something. I think, let's see, where can I get? I'll go this way. Breathing is an important one, which I've been trying to do more recently. I found an interesting perspective which says, like, if you breathe through your nose out your mouth, it's like, it's like that's God in your breath. So if you focus on your breath, that's God. I don't know why I'm saying this isn't completely relevant, but I think the breath is a good thing to focus on. I do it so often where I try to meditate and I end up focusing on how I feel more than the breath, and I just get lost in the feelings. So when I meditate now, I try to explicitly focus on my breath, which is like interesting because all the time I've been studying how to meditate, I've always looked at it and it's always said focus on the breath, focus on the breath, focus on the breath, and for some reason I didn't. And I wondered why I wasn't getting any results from it. Well, now I know why. So the breath is important. I think generally life is just pretty good, and you just have to step back and see that, because like I say, it's just so easy to get caught up in conflict, and whether that's between you and your dad, you and a friend, you and anyone, or on a more broader scale, you and countries, you and companies, you and anything, you can have conflict from, and it's to do with like how you feel about those things. And I think it's just good to regulate that, because I think so often we feel certain ways inwardly about ourselves, about our perspective of life, and it's like, okay, now I just want to take that out on anything. If it's not a good feeling, then it's like, okay, I just need to express how I feel. I feel really angry that life is like this for me, etc., etc. Oh, here's someone who seems like an easy target. Let me just put all that energy out on them. And I'm not trying to say I'm not trying to say I'm perfect or anything like that, because these are things that I struggle with as well. I'm just trying to notice it and looking inwards and seeing what life is all about is really important, which I think is very lacking in the modern world. It's like we have all of these tools available, technology, phones, and all this information, but we don't have that distance between it to see it for what it really is. We're so close to it. It's like we're rabbits in a rabbit cage or wherever you put rabbits. It's like we're just so immersed in it. We can't step back and see, oh, hang on, this is what this is. I could either use it for this or I could use it for this. But we don't give ourselves that choice. We're like, oh, I see this, okay, I'm doing this. This is the first thing that comes to mind, I'm doing this. And I think that's what happens when we focus or too much on the carnal self, like the root of our existence, where we are connected to the world, which is really powerful because it's what gives us a drive to exist and to do things. But untamed and uncontrolled, it's like a wild animal, and we're worth so much more than that. We're not just wild animals. I know that for certain through experience. Like, I just feel so much clearer about things now, and I can say with certainty, like, we are spiritual beings. We have this higher existence where we're destined to go back to. And to me, that's really exciting because the possibility of things to come is really cool. So that's what makes me want to do the best while I'm here, so I can get as much of an experience from it and be ready for whatever is to come. Because whatever your perspective of the world, religion, spirituality, any of these things, we all think something. Everyone has a perspective on something. So just identifying what that is and evaluating it, I think, is quite important, because oftentimes we can believe something and not really understand what it actually means. And there's just so much information out there. It's like, we got to get our hands on this and we've got to analyse it. We've got to understand these things, because it can change the way we see the world completely. But when we bury ourselves in a pit of sand and say, this is what I know to be true, this is it, this is the only thing that's out there, then what more is there to life? There's no growth, it's just that. So I just think life can be really cool if you're open to it. Because I know there's so many emotional attachments to things, especially if you have more experience in this world and you've seen more things. Then it's like, whoa, I just can't let go of that thought. That's something that's really important, that just really stunts the way I'm looking at things. But if, like, for example, a child is just so naive to things, and I just think it's so important to kindle that naiveness in ourselves towards things, because it helps us to be happy. And I don't know about you, but if there's a choice of being happy or sad, I would much rather choose to be happy. I say that, but maybe that's naive of me at the moment, because I feel like there's been times in my life where clinging onto the sadness and darkness has felt quite relieving for me. That, like, oh yeah, this brings me some sort of clarity. So yeah, I can't say it's always been this way, and I do understand where you're coming from if it is a perspective of sadness. But there's light at the end of the tunnel. I know this for sure. It just takes a little bit of patience, but you will get there if you just commit to something and search for something, because there's stuff to be searched for. And that's about it, I think I'll end that here. This is my first one, so it was a bit of a like a practice kind of discussion, like trying to see how things go. Hopefully I can expand on this a little bit more and see if there's any interest. But I like talking about these things, and it's been nice taking a walk in nature. So if you do manage to get to this part, I guess whatever platform it is on, I'd probably appreciate a like, think into the future, because at the moment a like doesn't mean anything to me, but in the future I may be thinking, oh yeah, it'd be nice to have some likes on this video if I uploaded it. So yeah, and if you do like this kind of content, then some sort of follow, subscription to whatever platform you see it on, that could be cool. And I'll see if I can make some more like this. And if there's any other topics as well that are of interest that I might be able to talk about, then I could give that a go and see how that goes. So yeah, just don't get lost, and you'll find the truth if you look for it. So have a nice day, and I will speak to you soon.